So one of the biggest hazards we're going to face as leaders is not executing on the things that need to get done. Today we're talking about the first of 3 keys to making execution a part of your leadership. This is your Weekly Kick. Hey, good morning. Welcome to your Weekly Kick. Today we're talking about execution. Execution is simply getting the right things done at the right time in the right way, consistently. This is crucial for good leaders to be able to do, and for any organization or company to follow through on consistently. Execution cannot be an option. It has to happen. Well, how do we do it? It's very challenging, and most companies and most organizations and leaders don't do it effectively. It's one of those things that we know we need to be doing and need to be doing better, but we don't. Well, there's 3 keys that we want to look at in the next 3 weeks. Today, the first key is making sure that our goals, where we want to end up, is crystal clear. That we understand where we're going to end up. And so that's what we want to talk about today, the first key. Otherwise, we end up frustrated. If we don't know where we're heading, we're going to end up frustrated. Here's what I mean. Take a look at this map. What I'd like you to do is to tell me how to get there. Well, get where, Todd? Just tell me how to get there. How to get where? Tell me how to get there. Get where? Well, suppose I narrowed it down a little bit for you. I just wasn't giving you enough information. It was too vague. Canada is a large country. What about if I narrow it down a little bit to this? What if I ask you to take me directly here, to this street address? Now, if you're in Canada, you should recognize this as our Parliament buildings on Parliament Hill in Ottawa. So I've narrowed it down from a country to a province to a city to an area of that city to an exact street address and a recognizable landmark that every Canadian should recognize. That's the first key. But there's 3 steps to the first key that we can't miss. The first step is to understand why it matters. We need to understand why our goals matter. Picking random numbers out of a hat, in a sense, and we can do that. We want to do this 10% or 20% or 15% or 30%. Why does it matter? Why do we pick that number? We need to understand why we pick the goals we pick. Why do we want to get better at this? Why do we not want to get better at this? Why do we want to make sure we do this? We need to understand why. Because if we don't understand as leaders, the people we lead definitely won't understand. The second step in the first key is taking the time to devise a strategy. A strategy is like a map. It's like a road map. If we're going to end up in the Parliament buildings, at the Parliament buildings in Ottawa, we need a road map, especially if we're coming from Western Canada. We need to know where to go, what roads, what highways, what roads through different cities to take. What route are we going to take to get there? That's what a strategy does. It lays out the roadmap for us. But it takes time, and most of us neglect this step. The third step ties in with strategy. What it is we need to devise the tactics they're simply, all a tactic is an action step that we need to take to make sure that we're on the path, that we're on the road that the strategy lays out for us. Tactics will help us get to where we want to get. They'll help us put the strategy into practice regularly. What I mean is simply, it's easier maybe to look at it this way. So, as a family, say we're planning on going on a trip to Ottawa. Well, I've narrowed it down. We're going to go to the Parliament buildings. Great. We know where we're heading. We've got a strategy. I've got a map. We've looked it up. We know what route we're going to take, how we're going to get through the different cities. Then we need to plan our tactics. We need to know where we're stopping the first night, the second night, the third night, where we're going to stay once we get there, where are we going to eat, where are we going to fuel up so we don't get caught in the middle of a highway where there's no place to fill up for 200 or 300 kilometers. Those are our tactics. How are we going to follow our strategy? Tactics enable us to do this. All 3 of these steps are crucial to making the first key a reality. So make our goals crystal clear in these 3 ways. First, we need to understand why our goal matters. Secondly, we need to have a strategy for getting there. Third, we need tactics for making the strategy a reality. If we put these 3 things into practice, we're well on our way to making sure execution happens in our business, in our organization, and in our lives every day. We'll see you next week for key number 2.